And here we are, spawning in the bottom left in the red. He is for Team Liquid, the little corporal, Clem.
Like that, his in-game name for his team is Molem.
Clem.
Sorry. His opponent in the blue. He is the German Protoss player fighting for Cascade Esports. Put your hands together for GunGFuBanDa. Banda. I mispronounced it slightly there, but it is Banda. Don't confuse it with Panda because that's not what it is.
Yep, he is. I assume this is a. He just likes the letter G, and he really liked the GunGFuBanDa movie. So, yeah, sure. You know,
just gave it its own little twist.
Yeah, I need to actually take a look at his Liquipedia page, and I wonder what, you know, some players, they have a big, long dissertation on where their name comes from. They're like, yes, back in 2010, I was walking along the side of the road and I saw a billboard, and the billboard reminded me of my mother. And when I went home to my mother, she said, "Hi, son," and that is why my name in StarCraft is Hyson. Because she said hi to me because I saw a billboard on the side. No, I mean... That being said, MaxPax actually does have...
Almost that Hajin's son there as the... Hi.
I think that's just her name, Kozan.
Yeah, it is, but it almost was. It almost got there.
Almost. But actually, MaxPax does have a name like that. So, actually, this was something that I figured out before he knew about it. So, apparently his dad, like his nickname his dad had for him was like MaxPax, right? And I'm like, hey, you know, I took a lot of Latin. Is MaxPax, is this short for, like... Is this something about, you know, the Great Peace, right? Because Maximus Pax, the Great Peace. And he's like, no, this is just something my dad calls me. And then he, we're just hanging out talking in a Exxon Cup as he's waiting for his next opponent. And then he goes back to me next week, and he's like, yeah, actually, I asked my dad about it. And yes, my name is Max, so Max Pax. But also, yeah, it's based off the Latin. I'm like, yes, I did it.
Wow.
My 7 years of Latin are somewhat used for like one brief period of time. I'm not useful.
You're on the same wavelength as the dad of MaxPax then. That's pretty good. You should have some children and let them start playing StarCraft 2.
The next generation for StarCraft 3 that we're never going to get.
You never know. We have good hopes. So far in this game, by the way, I mean, we see a little bit of Clem trying to get around with his Reaper. He's kind of being stopped so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, Reaper...
As much as a stop as you can get it.
Yeah, Reaper not getting a lot done here. And interesting here, GunGFuBanDa, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say I'm that surprised because, I mean, look how much dead airspace is on this map. But we have an Oracle on the way, right? This is a Stargate opener here. And, well, that actually makes a lot... Oh, these depths are going to find their way on in, too, which means no mining from the natural for the time being. But, well, Clem, he's not going to drop any mules on the natural anyway, so he's going to be fine there. But, you know, if you're a player like Clem, getting Phoenix to deal with drop play seems like a pretty good idea for GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah. I mean, he's making the Oracle first, but yeah, I would love to see some Phoenix afterwards. Those, I mean, I think it's just going to be more and more of a like the opening against Terran, right? As long as Terran are doing drops and such, Phoenix is always the right answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, second Oracle though. You can generally get one, but sometimes there is two, as we do see here. But interestingly enough, I mean, yes, this is going to be a Stargate build, and we don't have any Widow Mines here. Although, he's targeting the ones on the gas, so he's not getting nearly as much damage as he would like. But yeah, okay, we do have a Cyclone out, so the Oracle just says, yeah, my life for the cause. 4 workers will go down, and this Hellion's not going to get anything done. But what's interesting here is this build that GunGFuBanDa has kind of gone for is pretty reminiscent of all of the builds we saw in the last series, right? A Stargate into a quick third base. And if GunGFuBanDa can hold, I mean, he's going to be pretty happy. But this is a map that has some extremely difficult Terran pushes to deal with, right? You can siege tanks up right outside of the main base, and then it's so hard to get on top of it. Even chargelets don't really because of the slow zones. But Clem, he's going even a little bit faster.
Hey, it's already moving across here with just the Cyclone and, well, a good amount of Marines. Lock on to the probe, a bit of a shame. Would like to have that. Well, actually, he does it again here. Starting to wonder if he's doing it on purpose.
Now, we do have 2 Cyclones here and a landed Viking, which, you know, the utility of that, I mean, with the Phoenix out, you can't really fight it. But Viking's actually very good against mechanical units. That's why they 2-shot probes. But also, they can fight fairly well against these stalkers, and now the shield battery overcharge is popped. So I mean, really, none of the damage that Clem has done has stuck whatsoever. And the longer this lasts here, GunGFuBanDa, he's up 10 workers, right? He has a third base. His tech is advancing. He's gonna have more. He's gonna have more and more Phoenix. This is looking better and better here for our German Protoss player.
Yeah, I mean, no, Cyclones, they can still do a lot targeting down, but yeah, unfortunately the micro just isn't there. GunGFu jumps on top of him already, and then there's just no retreat anymore, especially with those Phoenix, right? Even in these situations, they do very, very well, picking off the key units that Clem needed to. Actually, micro's way to a victory there.
Yeah, you know, I hesitate to call a game over at 6 minutes when neither player has tapped out. But I mean, look at this. GunGFuBanDa, he's up 10 workers. He's up he has the third base here. He's up 30, 20, 30 army, or 20, 30 total supply. How does Clem make his way out of his base for the next, like, 2 minutes?
I don't know, but if somebody will figure it out, it is going to be Clem. That being said, he really is in a pretty awful situation right now.
Yeah, it's not good. And GunGFuBanDa, I like this, right? He realized that, yeah, as much as I'm in a good spot, right? I'm not good luck breaking a Terran on Blackburn through the natural at the very least. Maybe if you have Blink Stalkers in the main, but this was a Phoenix opener. You're not going to have Blink Stalkers. So what does he do? Well, he's like, yeah, Clem, he's stuck on 2 bases for forever, which means he's going to have to go for a push once again. Maybe before I have 3-4 Colossus, before I have Disruptors, this powerful splash tech. So what am I going to do? Charge is on the way, +1 is on the way, a bunch of additional gateways, and Templar Archives as well. So he's just going to go charge that Phoenix Storm, the style that's Zest beat Clem with in IEM Katowice, which, by the way, was a game where I think any player not named Clem just, you know, loses that game. So Clem did show his class there, but I mean, I like this GunGFuBanDa realizing that, yeah, okay, maybe this is something Clem is a little bit weak to. This is the style I'm going to play. There we go. He's going to take the gold as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking a lot of map control already, and why not just use that to grab that gold, right? Clem gonna try to grab his own third base. Won't be a gold base, but it will be a little bit easier for him to defend.
Yeah, taking the
see
third
if he gonna keep pushing here, actually. Yeah, it's just gonna setting up shop.
Yeah, and taking this third base as well does mean that Clem not only has maybe a little bit more defensive position than trying to take a gold base. What it also means is this is a base that he can push from and defend from at the same time, which, considering how active GunGFuBanDa has been on the map, that's going to be a nice thing indeed. But look, charge is done. 4 charge lets in this Warp Prism, and there's nothing in the main base of Clem here. Like, yes, he's going to have another rally. Actually, one of those barracks isn't even producing. This is the chance to get a good amount of damage done here.
Oh, Warp Prism taking a lot of damage from that missile turret as well, so maybe a couple of Marines will be enough on the same moment, though. There is a lot of Protoss units just collapsing on the front door of Clem. It does not appear like he has anything near the numbers in order to stop that from happening. GunGFuBanDa takes game number 1 against Clem. It's happening. It's somehow this man, he brought Clem to his knees.
Is this the day of upsets? I mean, we saw Vanya lose to Christianer. We've seen Clem lose game 1. I mean, granted, that build was a little bit funky.
Yeah.
That build was a lot
Mana
funky.
Cyril too, by the way. Right? Game number 1.
Yeah. Granted, maybe that tells us this is not going to be an upset. That just means the underdog wins game 1 and just gets smacked the other 2. But I mean, already, right? This is fantastic, right? Even if GunGFuBanDa only takes a map here, GunGFuBanDa just taking a map is already more than I expected out of this series. If he wins this series, I mean, he's top 4, right? He is in playoff contention once again.
It is. That's amazing. I mean, you told me, like, just he has to 2-0 Clem, and I thought, well, I mean, that's okay. Is that gonna happen? Well, most likely no, but maybe the slightest percentage chance there. And now that chance just increased significantly. So just one more game here. It's going to be on the Romanticide. How do you think that's going to work out between these two?
Well, Romanticide, it's a bigger map. It is not quite as an abusable one. I am surprised Clem went with that build over any other, because Blackburn does, from the games that I've seen, right, in this matchup and really any Terran matchup, In the early mid game, it does seem to be a very Terran favored map, right? There's some extremely good siege tank push positions that you can find yourself in that just make it so hard for the Protoss to engage. But Clem, I mean, he, in other matchups too, he's a fan of this kitchen sink build. He's like, yeah, I have like 2 Cyclones and I got 8 Marines and maybe got a couple Vikings. Let's move across the map and kill my opponent. And it didn't work there. But man, imagine if he had, not gotten 3 Cyclones, if he'd gotten 3 tanks and he set up that siege position there outside of the main base. I think that was probably a better idea, even with the Phoenix there, because again, the Phoenix lift and then the tanks don't die because Marines are buffering in a better position. But I don't know. I think it surprises me that Clem did go for a build such as that in a map that is kind of Terran favored. So I don't know. Maybe Clem just feeling like he's like, yeah, there's no way I lose to GunGFuBanDa in this series, much less this game. Let's do whatever. And well, he was punished for it. I think we're going to see something a little bit more standard in game 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, really. And yeah, for Clem, I mean, how much damage did he take in the beginning? It didn't feel like anything substantial. Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. Clem, that Reaper in the start, he never really got a good read, I suppose, on his opponent. Maybe that just threw him off entirely as well, right? So hopefully we're going to see him be a bit more on top of figuring out what's happening on the other side of the map so he can respond to it a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Clem, you talked about he didn't take a lot of damage early on. I think it's a better way to say that is he did a lot of damage to himself early on, right? Yeah. The Oracle only got like, I think 3 workers, something like that. It just gave its life for the cause, whatever. But that push that Clem did so much damage to him because it didn't, I mean, it killed off a couple of units. It didn't get any economic damage. It did not knock down, maybe killed 1 Phoenix, did not kill much tech.
Yeah.
And I like to talk about that as implicit damage, the damage you do to yourself or the damage that you take from not doing something. And, well, that meant GunGFuBanDa had a massive lead going on into the mid game. And, well, he understands that Clem maybe give him another 5 minutes. He can come back into that game. Don't give him that time. Charge lots up your face.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it seems like we're waiting for a little moment here as we have somebody going to the toilet. GunGFuBanDa going to the toilet right now. Actually needs to restart. Okay. All right. So he's gone for a restart afterwards. So that's what the delay is about. Probably will start up pretty soon again. But yeah, just hold on to your horses, guys. I'm sure that these players are as anxious as you are to get back into this game, of course. But yeah, just a little. Trying to fix some lag issues, apparently, that GunGFuBanDa is having.
Yeah, of course, we want our players to play at the maximum possible ability. And, well, I had something to say. I totally forgot what it was. It's fine, because I like pandas, and I like GunGFuBanDa. And I'm really excited to see what we're going to see from him in game number 2. We mentioned that it's probably, that it's going to be a little bit stronger, like probably a more standard game. But, I mean, Clem, he likes these early bits of aggression. Granted, that one didn't work, but he has, I want to say, 5 or 6 other rather early game aggressive builds, and we're gonna have to see what one he does decide to throw on out. I wonder, a build that's becoming a little bit more popular is like the Beyond style 3-rack stim timing, or even the 2-rack stim timing with a 3rd base behind it, like the 253rd. I wonder whether we're gonna see something like that. But again, that's a very volatile build, right? Sometimes it's a sometimes it works and kills the opponent. Sometimes it doesn't work and you're just dead. There's really not a lot of in between there.
Yep. And you take those risks. It was just the first game, right? So I suppose you have a little bit of that freedom to try and do a little bit more of a risky thing, right? If I do it, it might work. It might fail entirely and just lose me the game overall. So yeah. Doing that in the first set overall, it kind of shows some planning ahead overall, right? But at the same time, that's probably the moments as well that your opponent is looking a bit more for those types of things. Perhaps, but it's all a mental game. Sometimes it's hard to read into somebody else's mind, isn't it? I hear it's impossible, but you know what? I keep trying.
Eventually goes then. If you try hard enough, if you throw enough mud at the wall, if you say, yes, if I list every single possible build that Clem can play, there's like a 60% chance I'll be right. Because, you know, who knows? Clem might throw something rather weird. I mean, Clem has already won his group. These matches don't matter to him outside of, you know, making an extra $100 a series. And, you know, whether he feels like a generous god, letting GunGFuBanDa take the series here, which would mean Bonnie would drop out of the top 4. GunGFuBanDa would drop into the top 4. I mean, Clem, I mean, I'm not going to say he's throwing into games. He's certainly not. But he has a little bit of a power here to determine who he wants to run into in the bracket later on, should that be something that's on his mind.
It's a good point. I don't know if Clem is the person that would try to manipulate it like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, it's possible. It's possible. He's the man making that decision in a way. Well, we say that, but he still has to win, of course, even if he wants to win. Maybe going through Banda just actually taking him down, right? Playing pretty darn well after all. I already mentioned his name, but he's the blue Protoss here in the bottom right side for Cascade Esports, GunGFuBanDa.
And his opponent here in the upper left for Team Liquid and Clem, apparently he is Clem.
Clem.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of how the game 1 build made me feel. It's like, Clem, eh.
Yeah, like, not the real Clem, but it's like, Clem. Somewhat there.
I think we had Liquid Clam playing in game number 1 there. Hopefully.
The moisty Clem. No, wait. Okay, so we have got a probe here. It's always interesting, right? Probe talk. Alright, it's gone. It's left. No, wait, it's still there.
Yeah. Clem understands that harassment is not a good idea, is not a good deal here for his SCVs. They deserve a harassment-free workplace. So the probe is going to be forced on out. It's going to be shown the door here. But unfortunately, they were shown an interior door, and the probe's still going to be around. Still going to get that scout off. Still has the chance to harass. The security in Clem's base is really lacking, wouldn't you say?
It's rough, though, right? Getting this probe here overall. I mean, he's sending a couple of SCVs after it right now. Doesn't want to get blocked, of course, but... I mean, there's not that much to see just quite yet anyway, right, for GunGFuBanDa. This base going down. I mean, we're on Romenta's side. It's not the biggest of deals. He's not trying to hide too much here. So, right, Clem. As soon as he gets that Reaper out, we'll. I think it might be a bit more important that he actually gets to see what his opponent is doing this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. There. So what do we got? Right in this game 2, the command center will be done by the time the Adept really finds its way onto the other side of the map. GunGFuBanDa was not able to really delay that as much as he otherwise would like. Ideally, right, you have the probe there sitting in the natural a little bit longer. You prevent the command center from going down a little bit longer. And then you actually have an Adept that can go down. And because this SCV is only on 15 HP, one Adept shot will kill that off, which delays the command center just a little bit of time. But, well, the Adept will not show up there in time. We're actually... Okay, the Adept. Wasn't there an Adept made? Where is that Adept? Okay, it's just going to sit in the main base. No chance for that anyways. GunGFuBanDa, though, he's open for a bit more of a standard game. We talked about this in the break, right? Where like, oh, yeah, probably going to see more standard series. And, well, GunGFuBanDa, at the very least, he is showing us that. We have a Twilight on the way. We're probably going to see 1 to 2 more gateways. We might even see 3 and go for 4-gate aggression. But for the time being, it's going to be a blink opener. Nothing special here. And Clem, for his part, I don't think we're going to see him run across the map with, like... three Cyclones in a tank and 6 Marines and hope to win the game with it.
Yeah, it was rough, wasn't it? Getting those 2 lock-ons onto the probes as well is probably not the thing that you wanted to have happen. Very uncharacteristic of Clem to kind of have those micro mistakes. He does get a good scout on the Twilight Council, and, well, at least he knows kind of that is most likely kind of the generic blink opening. Didn't quite get a timing there to scout how many gateways is it going to be in total and stuff like that, of course. Did he see the robo? I don't think he did, right? He didn't, no. So yeah, it's still a little bit of guesswork left here for Clem. But he's making himself the triple Rex opening, and overall that could be sufficient if they would turn into a blink slot fast.
this is such an interesting build. So we've seen a lot of the Beyond build where he just gets, it's 3 barracks before third base, plus 1 stim combat shields, you move across the map, you win or you don't. Which I guess every build is you win or you don't, but in particular, I mean, this is very much an all-in. You have to get a bunch of workers, do whatever. But this is a build that Beyond has been experimenting with as well, a little bit less often. He was doing it more like a month and a half ago than he has been now, but this one, this is what I think we were talking about a little bit earlier, where you get that 250 third base. So yeah, you have plus 1 stim combat shields, you have really scary IO on the ground, you have a really advanced economy behind that, right? You do have 3 orbitals by 4 minutes and 30 seconds, triple mule, of course. And yes, you don't have a factory as fast, you don't have a starport as fast, so you don't have medevacs, you don't have that higher level of tech. But theoretically, you kind of have the best of both worlds, right? You have an extremely advanced economy, and you have an incredibly powerful attack. But that only lasts so long, right? One splash shows up. If the stim is forced too many times, I mean, this army just dies, and it still needs to get something done. Now, that or it just needs to not do anything at all, right? There are times we see this build happen where the Terran realizes that they've been scouted. They just don't move across the map. They're like, yeah, it's not worth it. That's not what's happening here.
Exactly.
As Clem, he's moving out in time with that plus 1 stim combat shields.
So good timing. The Stalkers already on the prowl, trying to find themselves some units that they could pick off. There we go, getting a Marauder. Very good, very good. Every unit matters in those situations. Trying to delay this push as well, as he's coming back around with those Stalkers. Looks like he didn't quite catch up, so going for the recall instead.
He's gung fu the recall.
Yeah, going for the recall. 1 shield battery here is available, but that is not at the front door. And Clem is getting a ton of gateway units here, gunned down very quickly.
Yeah, but I feel like he needs more than that. What he got? He got like 2-3 stalkers. Yeah, he got 1. No, he didn't even get that much. He got 1 stalker, 1
so
sentry.
many in the red.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, you're right.
This is not the damage Clem was looking for. I mean, it's not over. He does have his third base. He does have his starport just about done. He will eventually have what he needs, but I mean, GunGFuBanDa's sitting pretty happy. He has Colossus on the way. We don't have Extended Thermal Lance on the way yet. It's not done either, but Blink is done. Charge is just about done. We have Colossus soon to hit the field. And this army from GunGFuBanDa is, in all honesty, not something Clem can fight. Not before he has medevacs. Not before he has Vikings. And Clem wants to get something done with this. I mean, pure and simple, that's the point of this build. You get damage done, and you have a big economy behind it. If you don't get damage done, sure, you have the big economy, but, well, the Protoss just has a much better army, and they can go punish you for it.
Yeah, like you said, right? This is supposed to, it's supposed to get a valuable trade before that splash damage is there. And Clem, he didn't get any value there at all. In fact, he actually lost more than twice as many minerals overall in this game so far. Which, you know, it's starting to make me worried a little bit here for Clem. GunGFuBanDa, he might just have his number.
Yeah, I mean, also, again, the pressure is not nearly as much on Clem as it was for the first 5 games he played, right? He has confirmed himself a spot in the playoffs. I believe he's confirmed himself a spot in top 2. At least that's what Liquidpedia is telling me. Now, I don't know, I may not read it wrong, but I didn't have the time to do all the perturbation on that one because I'm not a smart man. I just talked about StarCraft. But anyway, we do have Clem here. He's going to stim on into the third base here, but there's 1 Colossus here. There are 2 Colossus here. Clem really shouldn't be able to get a lot done, and it's not like he has an army elsewhere, right? This is not like this is an army where he's like, yeah, I'm absolutely attacking your third base, but really I want to kill your natural. I want to do damage elsewhere. No, this is Clem's main army. And oh, he's going to lose a medevac. Not quite here, but now we won't. Once again, we will have the fight here from GunGFuBanDa. It is kicking off as more is getting warped on in, and yes, there's a drop on the right-hand side, but I'm more worried about Clem's main base, right? This is a scary army here from GunGFuBanDa. It is an equal army supply army, which when we're looking at PvT at this stage in the game, that means the Protoss is in a wonderful position here. Granted, upgrades, they're not quite done, so Clem does have a 2 upgrade lead, but still. It's now only a 1 upgrade lead here as +1 is done. Extended Thermal Lance is done. Yes, we have Widowmine. Stalkers can just blink out that one, though. As the Zealots, they're filtering in, so the Widowmine's not even getting a lot here. Now Clem, he's forced to pull the boys. He has to make the hold here right now.
Wow, coming in with the boys from both bases at the same time, trying to get us around. But the pullback from GungFu is just too good. What is this? A medevac surprise hitting the main base of GungFu as well. Has to warp in units back at home now instead of here with the major push that's trying to end it all. It might still do so though, as those Colossi sweeping away at the SCV numbers, and they get diminished very quickly that way. Couple of Widow Mines still on the mineral fields. Never a bad thing, getting some damage on those gateway units.
All right. So we had things have reset a little bit as these Widow Mines. There we go. They will get taken out eventually. Things have reset just a little bit. There are literally no workers here in the natural of GunGFuBanDa, but he does have a 4th base. He does have a 3rd base. He's mining efficiently there. So where do we stand at the end of things? GunGFuBanDa, he's at like 60 odd workers. He has been able to rebuild. He has equal army supply with the Terran. He is going to continue to be down upgrades as he only has 1 forge. He does have a Dark Shrine on the way though, and he will eventually get Archon. So he has a stronger army, but Clem will eventually have better upgrades, which means the gateway units will pretty much not matter in just about, well, in the production time here it takes to get +2 armor. And so it's a maneuverable army here for Clem against just a really powerful straight up army here for GunGFuBanDa. And I honestly, what we've seen of these players thus far, I think that plays to both players' strengths, right? GunGFuBanDa, he seems like he's most confident going in for these just big sledgehammer attacks, right? Trying to get as much damage as possible, saying, look, to hell with it. I'll take some damage, whatever, but I'm going to kill you. And I mean, Clem, the kid is fast. He loves harassment. He loves really forcing GunGFuBanDa everywhere where he doesn't want to be. So as we look at the stylistic differential as we get on into the mid game, seems honestly just about even.
Yeah, I think so as well, actually. I mean, the army composition for Clem here, it's not as low-tech as you would assume, kind of. There are 8 Vikings there. He does have his Ghost available. Doesn't have the enhanced shockwaves just quite yet. May not have the money for it at this moment in time, or choosing to prioritize other upgrades, but I'm hoping it's not a mistake. This could still be a pretty strong attack for Clem coming in. But he does have a choke to worry about. So and Zealots in the planetary not finished yet.
Yeah, nice move there. A couple workers will go down. It's going to force Clem back, which means that here GunGFuBanDa can maybe take a better fight as he's just looking to target down as many Vikings as possible. Now, we have 11 Vikings on the field, not all with this army, though. And, of course, the math says you want 3 Vikings per Colossus. So with 4 Colossus here, getting to that 11-12 mark is going to make Clem very happy. But, I mean, Clem, he's sharking around, right? He's posturing. He wants to get some damage done. Oh, the DTs are getting a lot of work here as we have more Zealots getting warped on in. Anyway, Clem was not going to attack before 2-2, and now while GunGFuBanDa is forced him back anyways, this is 2-2 versus 2-1. There we go. Okay, so only that 1 upgrade lead here for Clem in a second. 13 workers have gone down, and now GunGFuBanDa, he maybe... No, he's not. He's fine. I was going to say maybe he's got Clem out of position, but no. He's going to be totally fine here. Clem will stay alive for the time being, and, well... I want to see a second forge. I want to see DT blink. I want to see GunGFuBanDa take a 5th base, because as of right now, the advantages that he had a minute ago, not quite where they were.
I like that he's incorporating the disruptors as well. It's a good next step. Just got to be careful not to lose your way towards that step, of course, by throwing too much of your army away. As Clem, I mean, this force of his, it is made kind of to fight what GunGfu is throwing at him right now. Those Colossi and a lot of Stalkers, you know, those Marauders and Ghosts, they can make short work of those as well. Yeah. Still finding some opportunities with those Zealot run-bys, though, as Clem has to just send units back continuously, trying to remedy those situations.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried here for GunGFuBanDa as we get on a little bit further into this game. He absolutely had a winning position, or at least a advantageous position over the last several minutes. Oh, Disruptor shot going off. Okay, Clem will notice. Okay, so 1 Disruptor will go down. We have 1 more Disruptor with this army, as another army from Clem on the right-hand side is going to look to knock down this 5th base. So GunGFuBanDa, there was an opportunity there for him to take a 5th base a little bit ago when Clem didn't really want to attack, but now, well, he's just going to lose that 5th base. Was it killed? Yes, it was. So the base was killed, was not even canceled here. GunGFuBanDa losing more and more and more, but now we have Disruptors on the way, which means Clem can't really engage. Is he going to blow up some of his own units? But look at the flight coming in. All of these Zealots from the side. Is this going to be what he needs?
PT even has another Zealot as well, joining in the fray from the backside, and GunGfu pushing Clem all the way back. Doesn't quite finish him off, though. A lot of those Marines and Marauders in the low orange now. Gonna need some time to heal up so they can start stimming again. This would be massive. That is enormous. That Disruptor shot getting rid of most of the army that Clem has available here at his main base, and it opens up the door for those Immortals to perhaps start. No, okay, that is enough again here for Clem. As long as he doesn't get another one of those disruptor shots, he should start to stabilize. But that was a lot of value there going into GunGFu's favor.
Very much an equalizing force there. So we do have another planetary on the way, but this is one that GunGFuBanDa should be able to knock down if he is aware of it. As Clem's going to look to move on in here. We do still have disruptors, and while Vikings are pretty objectively terrible against disruptors, so this fourth base with all these immortals here should just go on down. Clem, he has decent splits, but they're not perfect, so a lot of the stuff will go on down. Fourth base goes down, and Clem, he's just forcing GunGFuBanDa onto the other base here. And well, with the disruptors and the zealot flank as well, trying to force him into the disruptor shots. This is such a good fight. I don't know if it's enough, but what a technical fight here from GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, it's just it's only, it seems Marauders, or sorry, yeah, Marauders left here for Clem. They're doing a good job against those Stalkers. The Immortals, I mean, they do a lot of damage against those Marauders, but the numbers were just in favor for Clem. There's still a bunch of Marines spread out as well. And without any disruptor shots ready to force those units to split up, stop shooting, and stop being as DPS intense as they can be. Yeah, that was not a fight that it was going to go into his favor there. Apparently a little bit of lag there being found by GunGFu.
Man, that was such a cool technical fight there from GunGFuBanDa with the flanks there from the zealots, and I really thought he was actually going to be able to get the disruptor shot. He had one flanking disruptor, but unfortunately came just a little bit late, and the disruptor shot was just a little bit late, so Clem was able to swing into the front army, go into the back army. But unfortunately there, GunGFuBanDa, he does take an eco lead, right? He is on 5 bases up against the 4 of the Terran opponent. He's on 57 workers as we get back into the game. But his army is a lot, I would say it's not a lot smaller, but it is certainly noticeably smaller here. As he's going to have to do a little bit of work to make sure that Terran does not just go and just pop him across the map. Say, look, I got 3-3. I'm up 3 upgrades. I can just go kill you. Which is always a possibility there with additional army supply and additional upgrades. It's not going to be easy for GunGFuBanDa to hold out for the next minute or two, but if he does, again, economy, it wins all battles.
It does, yeah. As long as it doesn't get killed off, you can keep the battle going, of course. It's interesting force here from Clem. It shouldn't be most of his army, but it's a reasonable portion. A lot of medevacts here in the sky, taking a lot of that supply, I suppose, as well. And there is the battle. Disruptor shots to get dodged once again. A couple of snipes on top of zealots. I don't think Clem is really looking to push into this too much. Just kind of get some value trading. I think he's just bored and he's looking for something to do.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool here. This DT is going to get a couple workers before it does go on out. I would love to see DT blink, by the way. But anyway, what's really cool here from GunGFuBanDa is he has realized that Clem is done. He says, yeah, I don't need Vikings anymore. My opponent is not building any more Colossus. We have 2 Colossus on the way, right? GunGFuBanDa, he's making that tech swap. He understands what his opponent is going for and what his opponent sees on the map, so how he can play counter to that here. As these zealot run-bys, well, it's just very much a tug of war here. But with these additional Colossus, this is with +3 done as well. Yes, GunGFuBanDa is down to armor upgrades, but it's all about attacks. Once again, we have these zealots flanking in, and this DT is actually going to get fairly decent damage because, well, it does have +3 here, so disruptor shots will not land. But these Colossi are actually doing a lot of work here. GunGFuBanDa, he's absolutely winning here on the right-hand side. I mean, yeah, Clem has got a somewhat decent army supply, but as you mentioned, a lot of that is in medevacs. That does not fight. Yeah, sure, it keeps the army alive, but when the army is just forced to run, medevacs really don't do all that much for you.
Got 9 of them at the moment. Liberators do come in and they secure this location fairly well. It's a scary moment. Still no enhanced shockwaves, by the way, on those ghosts. I'm starting to wonder if he forgot about it or if he just doesn't think it's a valuable upgrade. Haven't heard that comment about that upgrade. Anyway, here we go. GunGFu is gonna push forwards. Liberators are being taken out of the sky right now as the infantry of Clem is fighting in between the streets, in between the houses, and let's see if he will have enough. So many zealots are still spilling on through. On the top side, it seems that it is starting to be pushed out, especially with another Liberator there. Nice pickup on some units, almost getting shot down by a disruptor. The SCV's worker place kind of being saved now, as well as most of those units getting recalled and whatever's left now picked off.
Yeah, man, what a hard fight to call. You're looking at it, you're like, GunGFuBanDa's going on through, and then two Liberators show up, and there are no Stalkers left, and they're not targeting the Liberators, and then everything starts dying. You're like, I have no idea what's happening. But it looked cool.
It's fun StarCraft, that's what it is.
Yeah, actually, that was an extremely advantageous fight there. Look at the battle report there. Clem killing, what is that? 7,000 resources to 5. I mean, that is a massive win there for Clem at the end of the day, as GunGFuBanDa lost a lot of tech at the end of that trade. So yeah, GunGFuBanDa has a much better economy. He's on 5 bases. He does have a 6 base on the way, though. Clem looks like he wants to deal with that. But again, the game is a little bit more than just... Well, it's about more than just the economy that you have, the mining that you have. It's also about how well you trade here. So we do have this army here from Clem trying to get on top of things. Disruptor balls getting on top. Clem can't really engage into this too much here. 1 base will go down. 29 workers go down. And Clem, yes, he will be able to clean this. Yeah, he actually will be able to clean. Flanking disruptors, though? No, will not be that. And Clem will be able to clean this army up, but he lost so much. Actually, he's losing even more economy here with the Zealot run-bys, the DT run-bys. And GunGFuBanDa behind this, he is building 2 disruptors at a time. He's not losing too much of his army here. This is starting to look really good here for the German Protoss.
Yeah, Clem, he needs to start making some moves here. He has got 83 army supply versus 61. I think that's where his option lies right now. He's gonna find a way to make that army work for himself, but I mean, GunGFu still harassing, buying himself time and forcing Clem to stay on his side of the map. Each time a warping round is activated, we got 12 gateways. There you go, 12 more zealots, just like that. Suddenly now extra to have to deal with for Clem here, for this inevitable counter-attack.
Yeah, man.
There's no way he's going to stay on 30 workers versus 75 and just play defensive here, right?
I mean, I guess, but yeah, you can survive on 45 with mules. You're like, okay, look, I just need my SCVs for gas at this point. But how many orbitals do we have? We have, what is it? Where are the orbitals? We have 4 orbitals on the map, and considering a decent amount of them have to be spent in scans for DTs, well, it's not all that easy. Not at all. Once again, we do have more Colossus on the way. Do we have any on the field? No, just the additional 1 here. A lot of disruptors on the map here. Clem, he's attacking on in once again, but he doesn't have the big upgrade advantage that he did previously. It's only 1 armor. And there are enough disruptors here that GunGFuBanDa can send one every like 5 to 7 seconds, keep them cycling constantly. And Clem, while that happens, can never really push on in. So we have more Colossus on the way. We do not have it. We only have 5 Vikings on the map. And, well, GunGFuBanDa, for the first time in this game, we're seeing a massive supply lead, 174 to 127. He has a big army supply lead. He has a massive income lead. And, I mean, Clem, he's got it. He has to win this game by equalizing the economy, right? He can't just take the army straight up, but hey, getting a Colossus to start, that's going to be a nice move indeed here, as free tech is always, well, it's always well valued.
Yeah, Clem is just completely broke at this point. He doesn't have the money to really remake Vikings or Liberators, and that's not what he's doing. He's just focusing on the ground forces. He knows that is the one thing kind of keeping him alive here. Microing backwards. Oh, that could be rough. Medevac full snipe down there after being forced to pick up with a disruptor shot. Yeah, so Clem in trouble.
Yeah, he's certainly bleeding. He's battered. He's not broken yet.
Yeah.
But this map feels like, or this game feels like what we were talking about, I think, earlier on when we talked about, yeah, going Phoenix into Zealot. That's something that Zest did to beat Clem in that probably one of the best games of the year of I Am Katowice. And we are looking at a similar game here, right? It is that map, right? It was on Romanticide that Zest Clem happened. Once again, Clem has lost a lot. He is surviving in a game that I'm not sure any other Terran in the world, or very few, could actually survive here. But here's the difference, right? GunGFuBanDa has agreed to build more workers, right? This is not a 44 worker Zest that we saw previously. As the Stalkers, they're going to knock down an orbital here, and that's all GunGFuBanDa needs. Now, Clem, he only has 3 orbitals, not 4. All the Vikings are going to go on down. And once again, Clem is just not trading what he needs to, as we have Zealots here on the base as well. DT, it's just 1 here, 1 there. GunGFuBanDa, he's not losing like 10 DTs at a time like we sometimes see. So these DTs are absolutely finding their worth. They're forcing 250 minerals worth of a scan. They're giving GunGFuBanDa the time he needs to knock down orbitals. And again, the longer this goes, the better it is for a German Protoss player.
Look at how many SCVs have died already this game. It is 111 at this moment in time. And it just keeps climbing. It is rather ridiculous. Planetary Fortress here stays alive, but there's more zealots in the main. GunGfu is just ready. As soon as Clem overcommits to one of these defenses with his entire army, most likely that main force of GunGfu is coming in again to take out another entire base.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'm looking at here is Clem does still have a 1 upgrade lead for a little bit longer here. He does have a bigger army. So maybe that's what Clem's going to be able to make happen here. Is the splits are not going to be are going to be decent, right? Clem, he still will be forced to micro back though, and with this Colossus still on the field, Clem cannot afford the Vikings that he needs to really deal with this. So these Colossus are really the big power units that we're looking at the end of the day. Yes, Disruptors force micro, but Clem, I mean, his micro is very good. He doesn't really have to do all that much to. I mean, he's not really taking that much damage from the Disruptors out of that one big shot. Really, it's this Colossus. It's the sustained DPS with Zealots in the front. But Clem, he's setting up for a massive concave here, coming in from the left, the right, the center, all over the place. Maybe this is what he needs, but that Disruptor shot on the left-hand side, it's going to evaporate everything. And GG, GunGFuBanDa 2-0 Clem.